KwaZulu-Natal has once again been dubbed the assassination hub of South Africa. The latest report of the Global Initiative Against Transnational Organized Crime shows assassinations in the province are on the rise. Nearly half of these are related to the taxi industry. For more on this report, we're joined by a senior analyst from the organization, that's Jenny Irish Goboshiana. Ms. Goboshiana, thank you very much for your time this morning. So again, your report reveals that KZN is leading with the highest number of assassinations. Just unpack this report for us.
Yeah, I think that the report covers, the Global Initiative has started an assassination project which looks at assassinations taking place in the country. And I think that what we're finding is that assassinations in South Africa are particularly high. And if you look at what is happening around that assassinations, the majority of assassinations are taking place in the taxi industry. That's nationally, with about 46% of assassinations taking place. Of those, the majority of those assassinations are taking place in KwaZulu-Natal. When it comes to organized crime assassinations, they account for about 22% of all the assassinations taking place. And again, KwaZulu-Natal heads a list of the number of assassination links to organized crime. And then if one looks at political assassinations, which account for about 21% of all assassinations taking place in the country, KwaZulu-Natal accounts for more than half of those assassinations.
What about this province, have you established in the report, makes perhaps the individuals, if there is any contestation, be in politics or in the taxi industry, that makes many within this province respond in such a manner where they take each other out?
Look, I think KwaZulu-Natal has a relatively long history of quite serious sectarian violence. And in that history, assassinations played a major role in terms of our history in South Africa. What we're seeing is that KwaZulu-Natal became the epicenter of a group of people known often as eNCA, who are professional hitmen who actually have carried out assassinations predominantly in the taxi industry, but increasingly in political organized crime circles and even person-to-person assassinations where somebody hires an assassin to carry out an assassination on a family member or whatever else.
So now we had, though, the Moerane Commission. One would have assumed that if at the very least they would have diagnosed some of these issues, speaking to the history of eNCA. But somehow it seems nothing has changed even beyond those reports, now including yours as well. Why is this?
Yeah, no, I think the Moerane Commission identified a number of problems in dealing with some of these issues, including some of the weaknesses in the criminal justice system, which actually are highlighted very strongly in the Moerane report, and also including the fact that some of these people have got political links, and that obviously affects the ability to actually deal with these people. And I think that we have seen a task team be set up in KwaZulu-Natal, interministerial task team to deal with some of the political killings that have taken place there. And there has been some progress made, but I think that the province still remains a real problem in the sense that you've got issues of political patronage, which feeds into some of the taxi violence, some of the organized and corruption that feeds into the organized crime violence, that feeds into the political violence. And that also obviously impacts on the criminal justice system's ability to deal with those things. Those issues.
Now, if we zoom in on the taxi industry, it's predominantly violent. We've always heard of that, and we've seen it in most instances. How greater a figure has perhaps Johannesburg killings actually increased? Let's say Gauteng, actually.
I think we're seeing increases in a number of different areas. I think we're seeing increases in Gauteng, we're seeing increases in the Western Cape, and we're seeing increases in parts of KwaZulu-Natal. I think what we're also seeing is that in the past, a lot of the violence was drive-by shootings, etc. What we're seeing in the taxi industry now is an increasing number of very targeted assassinations of people taking place within that industry.
When you speak of that in particular, that it was mostly drive-bys, talk to me about now. What are we seeing? Are we seeing people being assassinated in their homes? Is it malls? Has it become that brazen?
Yeah, we're seeing assassinations taking place at homes, at malls, people on their way home. In some instances where assassinations take place in public spaces, members of the public are at risk and have been injured in some of those assassinations. But some of these assassinations are incredibly well planned, and they take place while somebody is driving into their driveway or in their home, etc.
No, it's honestly disturbing. So what can police do with such a report at this point? Because it seems, even with the Moirani Commission, there were clear guidelines on what needs to happen, but it wasn't implemented.
I think that's the point, is that there are a number of recommendations that have come out of different taxi commissions, that have come out of the Moirani Commission. There are a number of weaknesses that have been highlighted in the criminal justice system, and it's about making sure that we implement those measures rather than trying to recreate new measures and new ideas to deal with it. It's about having an effective criminal justice system that can deal with it. And it's about dealing with certain issues where you do have issues of political patronage. And those are highlighted and identified in reports like the Moirani report.
Jenny, thank you very much for your time. That is Jenny Irish Goboshiana, an analyst, speaking to us there. Now, still